All right, well, so I guess let's get started on some of the maintenance, including I'm going to change the oil in the transmission and the engine, clean the air filter, check the other inner air filter because there's two on this, and then uninstall the dog, which just uninstalled itself. What's up, kid? So to get this done, we gotta get under here and get this. Seriously, I don't need that. Get this skid plate off, which looks like it's held on by a bunch of 10mm bolts. So probably just go straight to the impact. Get it all flat away. I don't know if any YXZ guys know. Is there supposed to be a skid plate here? Kind of seems like maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have one, considering that's the difference right there. But mine's not there, so if there is supposed to be one, I may need to get one ordered. But yeah, we'll get this off. Probably clean out underneath it a little bit. It looks fairly clean up in there. So yeah, we'll get that started, see if I can get this off, and then we'll get back to the oil change part. I've been defeated. So what's left of the little plastic tab is gone, and I can't get that out without destroying it. And since I'm going to be using this thing tomorrow, that's going to have to wait until I can get a replacement part and probably service the transmission again because that's not coming out of there. There's no room to get anything in there and pry around it. I've tried picks and little screwdrivers and just about everything. I think the only thing I'm gonna be able to do is drill a hole in it, put a screw in it, and pull it out that way, at which point, yeah, that thing's gonna be trash. So as far as whatever's in that little screen is gonna remain a mystery for now. So I'm gonna get this wrapped up and get onto the oil change. Okay, so let's get into this. So in my last video, I'd mentioned servicing this a couple times for the gentleman that had it before I got it. And when I serviced it, all I did was change the oil. And I guess I was under the assumption it was kind of like my Pioneer. That fluid was all one fluid. Well, it turns out there's an actual drain plug for the transmission, and that makes sense since it's all connected with drive shafts. There's like a filter screen. So anyway, I got the oil change kit from the Yamaha dealer to do this. And one of the things that I noticed about it when he would bring it over is it come with 5 quarts of oil and 3 copper washers. And it would only use almost like 2.8 quarts of oil and 2 of the copper washers. So there's always a little over 2 quarts of oil left and a copper washer left over. And I'm pretty sure that's what this is. We should have been changing everything, but instead he would buy the kit, change the oil, and then the next time he said he'd just buy a filter. So I think this may have, either he got this changed at the dealer and knew about it, or this oil's never been changed in this transmission. We're about to find out how this looks. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. So let's pull this and see what we find. Hopefully it's not terribly bad. Although I will say so far this thing's is cheaper to service than my Pioneer, and it's a lot easier to work on. There's a few more bolts to take out, but you can get the thing so much easier on this one than the Pioneer. I already like that about it. Hopefully I don't have to work on it too much. All right. Well, that wasn't very tight. Huh. Let's hope there's fluid in it. All right, 3, 2, 1. Well, it's not shiny. So I've seen other things with clutches in them that are, you know, wet clutch with engine oil. And this doesn't look too much different. Doesn't smell terrible. Doesn't smell burnt. Yeah, there's that mysterious copper washer we never could find a use for. Ah, that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain this, and then once this is done draining, we'll pull that screen out and kind of see what that looks like underneath it. So instead of watching grass grow, I'll just come back when it's that time. All right, so why there's not a lot of oil in the engine drain pan, or the engine oil pan, is because, so Yamaha uses a dry sump oil system on this engine. And part of why this side-by-side was so interesting to me is because I plan on using a similar system on the new engine for my 68 F100. And for guys that don't know what oil dry sump system is, this is your oil tank, and oil is pulled from this tank, pressurized, and sent through the motor and pumped back into this tank. So you don't have a traditional oil pan with an oil pickup on this engine. And so it eliminates a lot of problems like hard cornering and oil starvation and things like that. It's I know like a lot of supercars use it. I've seen, you know, videos of people that, you know, have worked on those, and they've all got the dry sump system. And yeah, it's, you know, it's a pretty good system to use. And honestly, I mean, this engine redlines at like 10,500 RPMs, and I think some street bikes use a similar system maybe, and it's even higher than that. So again, like I think I'm going to end up doing the similar thing on my 68, and so that's why this was so interesting, so I could kind of learn about it and understand it a little bit before I go full on into transitioning over to it. But anyway, once that's done leaking, draining, I'm going to get the drain plug out of here, and we'll try and hit the drain pan and not the floor. So yeah, good luck with that. All right, so while that drips out the rest of the way, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to guess that this has been changed because that screen thing is kind of broken off. Like part of it's missing. So let's get in here and see what this looks like. Is this where I'm going to find all the stuff I don't want to see? It smells like, I actually did a kind of a tour thing one time at a place called Ray Bestis that manufactured clutches and brake linings and things like that. And it had a smell to it, the place did, and it's kind of what the oil is in this smells like. So let's see, I brought some pliers with me. I just don't know what I did with them. Well, let's see if this is gonna come out. No. Not enough for me to get a hold of. All right, let me grab some pliers. All right, so here's what I was talking about. So here's the kit. It comes in the box. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Got the Yama lube, all that. And like I said, here is that. So it comes with these two, and I know these two are for the drain plug in the bottom of the block and the drain plug in the tank. And this is the one that we always, you know, just mysteriously never knew what it went for, and sure enough, it goes right on that oil drain plug for the transmission. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that part real quick because, like I said, it's kind of fun figuring things out for the first time. All right, now we're back in the territory I know. And with this, so it's not like a standard drain pan or oil pan. The drain plug is actually right here, and there's 3 of these. It's easy to spot because this one actually has the sealing washer around the bottom of it, so that one's easy to tell which one isn't. But it's also vital to get the right size socket. there's a little bit of dirt in yours, make sure you clean it out, because these Allen heads bolts, I've always had trouble with them and not stripping out on anything I work on that has Allen bolts in it. Now, when I pull this drain plug, right, here we go. It's not going to look like there's much oil in it. And there's a reason for that. So I don't know if you can tell by the color, but the oil looks pretty clean. Well, I'm not sure what that was. Oh, whew. If anybody heard that hit the pan, it was the copper sealing washer. I was like, what just fell out of that engine? That's a little spooky. Yeah, that oil doesn't look too bad. Well, that's a good sign. Looks like it was recently changed. And the last time this was changed, I didn't do it. And I'm not sure where he found the oil filter like that has the cap on it. But that's pretty cool. So we're gonna let that drain. I'm gonna get the oil filter off, and then I'll move on to why this thing doesn't have a whole lot of oil in the drain pan or in the oil pan. So I got the new oil filter installed in the drain plug, put back in. So the last thing we have to do is drain the oil tank. And yeah, we're gonna see. We're either gonna pull this off or make a big mess. Either way, I think this one's gonna be close. But we're about to find out how close it is. Ooh, oh, on the arm. Oh. Not too bad. Not too bad. So we'll set this back here for this new seal and pull the dipstick out. This should make this tank drain a little bit quicker. And then once that tank's drained out, I'll go through the oil filling procedure. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a little bit different than a normal car because it's a dry sump system. So yeah, we'll do that. And then I think that'll be about the end of this video. I was gonna adjust this parking brake in this video, but upon further inspection, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but yeah, there's not enough parking brake pad left. It's not completely wore out, but there's no point in adjusting it. It doesn't hold real well, but there's no point in adjusting it. I definitely need to replace those pads. So I'm gonna do the pads and you know, get that parking brake set up. So yeah, let me get the rest of this oil drained out. Once this is done, I'll button it up and then we'll go through filling it. And I'm gonna start with refilling the transmission. So it calls for 1.59 quarts. Since I couldn't get that screen out, I'm gonna go just a little bit under and check it first because I imagine there's more oil where that screen is. The drain plugs, or the fill plugs, right down here. And so what I do on stuff like this is I take a little brush, right? Just kind of clean off around the edge of that plug, the top of the plug, so just make sure nothing's gonna fall in your transmission, because that's not good. And then this just unscrews. And then you get your cute little funnel like this. It goes right down there. And now we can fill it with fluid. And let's say, since it uses the exact same oil as the engine, it's so I think in the summertime I'm gonna run the 1540 or the 1550, and in the wintertime I'm probably gonna switch to like a 10W40, just so that it's a bit thinner in the wintertime. I'm using Yamalube until somebody tells me otherwise, because this oil's, I mean, you know, OEM stuff's usually pretty good. I had some Yamaha four-wheelers in the past and only drain that stuff. So let's see, can I hit the funnel through a camera? Yes. So anyway, yep, I'll get this filled up and then we'll move on to adding the oil. Since I doubt anybody wants to sit here and watch me pour a quart of oil into this transmission. Okay, so I've got 2 quarts of oil in the oil tank. Oil and filter changed, plug put on. So what Yamaha tells you with 2 quarts to do is hop in, turn it on, make sure it's in neutral, start it. After that, you can shut it off and finish topping off the oil for the 2.7, 2.8 quarts. I'm gonna have to go back and look for sure. And that is the end of the oil change. And so I'm gonna get this buttoned up and I've got a little one ready to go for a ride. So typical video. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.